Good afternoon. Well, I am recording this in the afternoon, sorry. But good morning, boys and girls, and this is Health Lesson 150, and I'm going to be reading from page 100 to 103. Yesterday's reading comprehension, you were supposed to do it on your own. Hopefully, you guys did it. There we go. You could see that better. It says, when you are practicing safety habits, you are protecting yourself and others around you. And this is very essential right now with COVID-19. The reason why you wash your hands and you wear a mask is to protect yourself and others, right? Because if we go out to the street and we come back home, if we touch something, and when we come back home, we don't wash our hands, then that's on our hands, and everything we touch in our home then gets these germs, and that's how it spreads. So please wash your hands and wear your mask when you are in a public place. If you're just walking around in the street, you don't need a mask because you're out in the open. But when you're in close contact with someone else, please wear your mask. What is the emergency number to call for help? That will be 911. You need to know your address or your location because they're going to ask you several questions. So while you're dialing 911, figure out where you are so they can come and get you. They could come to your help. Because if you don't know the address, if you don't know any landmarks to indicate to them or the name of the location where you are, they can't come and help you. So you need to know the address. It's very important for you to know your address and your parents' telephone numbers. Last question. What should you always do when you leave your car? You should lock your car. That's one. Two, look in the car and see if you left behind things that will draw attention to your car, like leaving a bag or a computer, a laptop, maybe even money in the center, in the middle, even loose change. You never know in what desperation someone else is. So people will break into your car for loose change if they're that desperate. And if your car is in a location that nobody's looking or nobody's around, it is a perfect time for them. So don't entice people by leaving things in your car that will draw attention to your car. Okay? Another thing that my father told me a long time ago was, don't do things to your car that identify your car. A lot of us love to put stickers and flags and sometimes even names of, there's a sticker with the family and it shows the mom, the dad, the sister, the brother, and the brother does softball and the sister does track and field. That is giving people with bad ideas information about your personal life. They could track your address by your license plate. They could figure out if you play baseball, they could go and figure out where the baseball parks are. So we need to be very careful of the information that we're letting other people know just because it looks cute. So we need to verify that. The same thing when we post things online. What is it that you're posting? What can be seen in the picture, in the background? Sometimes we don't look in the background for the pictures, and sometimes we have information in the back. And children, if you're online, do not accept anybody that you do not know. Even if they're telling you that they're a child, there's a lot of bad people out there, and they get online and they make believe that they're also a kid and try to talk to you and then convince you in doing things that are not good. So be very careful. Actually, a parent should be present or aware when you are online. That way you don't get yourself into trouble and start messing with things that you don't need to mess with. That you're focused on your work and you're not doing other stuff that you're not supposed to. Okay, moving on. Enough preaching. Pedestrian. Pedestrian is a person walking on the street or sidewalk. Dusk. When the sun is going down, it going down and it begins to get dark. Street safety. Do you like to go for walks? Whenever you are walking in a sidewalk or along the street, you are called a pedestrian. A pedestrian should walk on the street only if there are no sidewalks. If you must walk on the street, walk on the left side of the street towards traffic so that you can see the cars that are coming and keep out of their way. So you are facing traffic. These are things that adults don't do. And that's why you hear on the news that somebody was hit by a car. It's because of this. Because unfortunately, adults don't follow these instructions. They cross the street wherever they want to. Like the other day, I almost hit a young man in a bicycle. The light was red. The crossing light was red, and he was still crossing with his bicycle, and I almost hit him. Thank God that I was looking and paying attention. If you must walk on the street, walk on the left side of the street towards traffic so that you can see the cars that are coming and keeping out of their way. You should never take a walk alone. If you walk to school or to a friend's house, you should always walk with others and use the safest way to and from school. You should always walk on the sidewalk if there is one. You should also avoid walking across empty lots where there might be rusty nails or broken glass. Remember that it is never safe to accept a ride from a stranger. If a stranger approaches you, yell for help and run in the opposite direction. And don't yell help, yell fire. People respond better when you're yelling fire than when you're yelling help. Street safety. Which side of the road should you walk on? Circle the child who is walking on the correct side of the road. Do you remember why you should walk on that side of the road? So who is it? The boy in the blue or the boy in the yellow? I'm looking at the stop sign. And it says stop. So that means that if a car was here, a car will be driving in this direction. And if a car was on this side, it will be driving in this direction. So the only person that's actually walking the right way is the young lady. The two boys are walking incorrectly. Walk light. Don't walk light. The light was in don't walk and he was still crossing the street. I almost hit him. Anyway, cross a busy street at an intersection or at a crosswalk. Remember yesterday I told you that, actually the picture is in here. They wanted you to say, you see, this is your crosswalk. This is where you're supposed to be crossing the street, which your crosswalk will be at the corner. You do not cross in the middle of the sidewalk because people are not expecting you to walk out into traffic through here. This is why people get run over. And on top of that, sometimes it's early in the morning and they're dressed in black and they just walk in. It's dark. People don't see you and don't expect you to walk out into traffic. Be mindful of others. Okay. Don't mess up other people's day because you chose to not follow instructions. Cross a busy street in an intersection or sidewalk. Do not enter a street between parked cars. This is unsafe because the driver of approaching cars cannot see you and they're not expecting you to walk out that way. If there is a traffic light, wait until the light turns green or reads walk. If there is no traffic light, look all directions for cars before you leave the sidewalk. The cross only when it is safe. There is no rush. People nowadays live in a rush, and that's why they make all of these mistakes. Most common causes of pedestrians accidents. Crossing in an intersection when the light is red. That's why I almost ran over the guy in the bicycle. Crossing a street where there is no intersection when you're crossing in between cars. Entering the street between cars. Crossing a street where there is no intersection. That means that you did not go to the crossway. How do you prevent the most common pedestrian accidents? You cross at the corner, you wait for the light, you look both ways. Do you ride the school bus? Sorry, but you are reading for your book. Do you ride the school bus? If you get off the school bus and need to cross the street, you should cross in front of the bus. And also, that also goes when you're getting out of your car. That way they know they can see you. That's why you do that. If you go through the back of the car, they cannot see you. The traffic is stopped for the bus. And the bus driver can see that you get across the street safely. Whenever you get into or out of a car that is parked along the side of a street, you should get into or out of the side of the car that is closest to the curb. Because on the other side there is traffic. Don't run into the street. You need to be aware what's happening. If you open the door on the side closest to the street, you could cause an accident or be seriously hurt. That happened once when I was young. When I was younger. My mom was getting out of the car. I was driving. My mom was getting out of the car. She did not look, and she swung the door open, and a car was coming and took the car. Luckily, nothing happened, took the door. Luckily, nothing happened to her, but it was a very scary moment. She was still in the car. At dusk, when the sun is going down and it is just starting to get dark, the shadows make it very difficult for drivers to see pedestrians. For this reason, you should try to be home before dusk. Never walk alone at night. Whenever you must be out at dusk or after dark, you will need to be even more watchful and careful. You should also wear light-colored clothing or carry a light so that car drivers can see you, or anything that reflects light. The best thing is to wear white. It reflects light. Or you could buy those little, I don't know what they're called. They're reflectors that you stick on your bicycle. You can stick them to your shoes. Do you know, or to your backpack? Do you know what each of these signs mean? Railroad crossing. This is that you're approaching a railroad. This is that you're going to go over some railroads. This means that the road is curvy, that it has a lot of turns, and it could be dangerous. Obviously, this means stop. It doesn't mean Coca-Cola. Some people don't stop, and this is another reason why we have traffic accidents, because people don't follow the rules. The rules are there to keep us safe. And this one is a school crossing. This one is green, but ours are usually white here in Florida. School crossing. Moving on. Personal safety. God has given us a wonderful body, but some parts of our body are private. These private parts of your body are the parts that are covered by your swimsuit. If anyone tries to touch you in these areas, no matter who the person is or what they say to you, yell for help and run away. Kick, scream, bite, scratch, hit. I give you permission. Tell your parents and or trusted adults immediately, even if they tell you not to tell. Even if they tell you, if you tell, I'll do this to them. You tell. Because, okay, let them come and do something with the adults. You have adults that love you and want you safe. Tell. Don't keep secrets. Keeping secrets from your parents or adults that love you can cause you harm in the long run. Don't keep secrets. Tell. Don't believe ugly people like that. If somebody tells you those lies and threatens you, do the total opposite. Right there and then start screaming and let everybody know. Because it's not your fault. If they tell you that it's your fault, it is because you did something that is a lie. They're lying to you. Tell. Don't keep secrets. You have a matching. Read, answer, and we will go over them in the next video. Bye. See you at the meet.